Hello, everyone, once again. Welcome back to another episode of the DrunkFriend podcast. As always, we're your hosts. I'm Travis, joined by Alex. Alex, buddy, how are you doing? You sound a little tired today, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Tired. Too tired.
Too tired? Too tired to do a podcast?
I just wanted to do that just once. Like I'm just too tired.
Just too tired.
Too tired. No, cancel it. Cancel everything. Just shove it off to the side. Nope, not happening. No, I'm fine. I'm doing just fine because I watched your video on Mappyland.
Hell
Wait
yeah.
a second. What is Mappyland? Please explain what Mappyland
Game
is.
about cartography. It's all about maps. You got your regular old elevation map. You got your street map. You got your satellite map with trees and shit. And you just got your regular road map. That's Mappyland. That's the whole game. No, it's about a mouse. It's worse. It's about a mouse that solves crime.
The first thing you said made a lot more sense, but no. The thing that actually makes sense, the thing that the game is it's about a mouse that, like, what does the mouse do exactly? It does things.
He's at his girlfriend's beckoning. You know, she eventually becomes his wife throughout the game. You see a whole lifetime go by. You date her, and then you marry her. Then you get Christmas presents for her, and then you get stuff for your kid. It's a whole fairy tale.
There's a lot of birthday presents in the game, aren't there?
There's a lot of birthday. There's actually you have to go get a bunch of rings for her. I don't know how many fingers mice have, but she wants a lot of engagement rings. So the game makes a lot of sense. Everybody loves it. I did learn though through a comment that everyone's making fun of the name a little bit. You know, there's not a lot to make fun of in the game, so you kind of got to stretch it. But one person left a comment. His name is I'm scrolling here to find it. Actually, I don't see it, so that's fun. But I want to say a guy that comments regularly for me. His name is Will, and he said that the word mappo in Japanese means cop, and so Mappy Land and the mouse being a cop kind of makes sense. So I think that's the connection there. But yeah, it's an adaptation of an arcade experience for the NES. It's alright.
You said cop, not cock.
I did say cop. Sorry, cop with a P.
Okay, all right.
Constable
You're
on
saying
patrol.
cop with a P, not cock with a CK. Okay.
That would be wild if it meant cock in Japanese, and we're all just pretending like it's just cool.
We're just saying cockland.
Yeah. Cocky land. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Copland. Well, wait a second then, because that has extra connotations in America. Because now we're talking about Copland, the Sylvester Stallone movie.
Great movie.
Where we've got Stallone walking into Robert De Niro's office, and he's eating a sandwich with like mayonnaise and like spinach is in there, and it might be like it looks like it might be some sort of chicken salad sandwich, or maybe some sort of chicken salad. One of those. What do you call it? Pita sandwiches. Pita.
Oh,
it looks like he's got pita bread in there.
I got you.
And he's really enjoying it. He's really enjoying his sandwich. And Sly Stallone walks in there. He's like, I did my best. I tried the best I could. And De Niro's like, you did the best. You did the best you could. It doesn't matter. None of it matters anymore. You're done. You're done. I forget what the line is, but he's like, oh man, I totally screwed this up because I can't remember the line.
Though, you did describe the sandwich very good, and now I'm a little bit hungry.
I was so obsessed with the sandwich that I forgot the line.
I felt like you were describing the sandwich extra to buy yourself time to remember the rest of the line.
You're exactly right. Yes, that is exactly what I did, because I wanted to remember the line, but I could not, because I was like, okay, I know there was like a lot of leafy stuff in there. I know there was a lot of sauce in there. I know the bread was very thin, so it had to have been pita.
There you go. Man. What a memory you have. You can remember like the density of the sandwich, but you cannot remember the line that was so key.
I can't remember what he said to him. It was like, you lose, but it's like, I'm getting confused with like the Simpsons thing where it's like, you lose, Springfield.
Right.
But it's not quite that. I don't know. I forget. So I'm sure we'll have somebody, this is just all in all like a big hook to get somebody to mail in and angrily message us to get us.
We have some angry comments coming up later in the show, so I mean we're just kind of setting the stage for like, hey, you want to be mad? You know how mad you get when somebody doesn't precisely remember the quote in a movie you want them to remember? This is your ticket. You know, we have an email address. Exercise your right to be hateful.
I just can't remember. I can't remember the name. Yeah, I can't remember the link. But it's just Sylvester Stallone, Robert De Niro. Look it up. It's on YouTube. You'll find it. It's a delicious looking sandwich. You're not gonna like deny Robert De Niro. The thing that makes the scene so good is that Robert De Niro does not stop eating the sandwich while he's talking to Sylvester Stallone.
Right.
He's just like sitting there, like just chomping away, like my hands are tied. Like I can't do anything.
You know, they said it took them 47 takes. He went through 19 of those sandwiches, and he never once complained. He said it was a really good sandwich. He would have eaten 19 more. He was screwing up takes on purpose just to get more sandwich, they were saying. So,
oh, man. I would do the same. As long as it weren't tuna.
Speaking of not remembering the names to things, what the hell was the name of that game you did this week? Naguko Shuen...
Nanguko Shonen Papua-kun. And yeah.
Tell me, when you do the Japanese games and you get the names, would Pearl testify that you do spend a lot of time in the mirror trying to get those names down before you record?
Not really, no. I just do the best I can, and I just play the games. That's all that matters. I just try and play the games and just like, hey, here's what this is. Here's the best I can do with the name. Nobody cares.
I'm just saying, you do a pretty good job. When I hear the names, I'm like, damn, he just killed that, I think. I don't know.
Well, if I did, then I'm doing a good job impressing the right people. Because,
I'm impressed.
Thank you for that. But, I'm trying to just find new games on Super Famicom that have not translated yet. This is a really fun platformer where you just run to the right, run to the left, do stuff, run at things, jump on things, jump over things, and it's one of those platformers where you have to be really close to things and punch them and kick them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's no projectile. There is a projectile, but it's very, very limited. So you have to be very careful with your ammo for your projectiles. And you have to make sure that you keep a safe distance when you fight other enemies and bosses and all that sort of stuff. Because this game is very fair when it comes to, what do you call it? Hit detection. Yeah, it's fine. It does a good enough job with that. So it does a good enough job. So if it pisses you off, it's probably your fault.
There you go. Take that.
And it's not. And it's exactly. And it's not the game's fault. I think it is anyway. I thought it did a very good job with the hit detection. But if it didn't, let me know. My email address is onesnesdrunk@gmail.com. Let me know.
It looks fun. I like the cutesy aspect of it. It just looks like a good time. It looks very like you could just pick up and play it and know exactly what you got to do out of the gate and have fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's pick up and play. It's very good.
Love it. And then you did the G.I. Joe game, which it looks like pick up and play, but also almost made my eyes bleed. There's so many explosions on the screen.
Yeah, no, I love all things G.I. Joe. It's tremendous. I had G.I. Joe comics. I watched the G.I. Joe cartoon. It's one of those things where I was the youngest of three when I was a kid, and I had an older brother that was 5 years older than me, and he was into like other military stuff when I was younger. And I made sure that I would not go into his territory when I just didn't want me and my brother to like the same things, basically. So it's like, if my brother likes this, I can't like this.
Right.
That's hard to explain as a younger sibling, but if you're a younger sibling out there that's listening, you get what I mean.
You want to be your own thing. Makes sense.
Yeah, you want to be your own thing. And when I saw there was an opening for G.I. Joe, I was like, hell yeah. I'm all over G.I. Joe. And I was, yeah, that's exactly right. I was all over G.I. Joe forever and ever. And I got the comics, I got the cartoon, all that stuff. So I was really happy about that. And yeah, the G.I. Joe arcade really does a great job with the art style. With it's one of those games I never saw in the wild as a kid. So I was very sad about that when I saw it, but I get to play it now.
I was surprised I had never seen what the arcade game looked like before. I assumed that would be something I was familiar with, but then when I saw it, I was like, "What is this? This is crazy!" So pretty cool.
It's a Konami game too. Yeah,
wow.
It's a Konami developed game from 1992. So yeah, it's got a lot going for it. It's very well made, good hit detection, good representation of all the G.I. Joe stuff that you're used to seeing, especially all the characters, especially Cobra Commander and Destro and Baroness and all that sort of stuff. Man, great stuff all around. Yeah, I love all this stuff.
Cool, man. Yeah, it was a good week. Good week for videos, so good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we have a couple emails coming up here, and the first one here is by or from a fella in Brazil. So forgive the English here, but he does a pretty good job, so I'm going to read it here. This is from Igor. He says, "Dear Drunk Nintendo friends, Dear Drunk Nintendo, oh, I'm a Nintendo fan and a friend, I guess." He says, "How are you? I'm making contact to tell you guys that you have at least one Brazilian drunk friend. I follow Alex on YouTube and didn't know about Trav's channel, but now I'm following him too. I want to thank you both for this podcast in the pandemic. It helped me a lot to simulate that I'm actually in a conversation with friends. Even the episodes where you talk about sports and wrestling, especially when you talk about college teams and players, I thought I probably won't like this, but hey, it was like hearing my actual friends talk about soccer, and it was pretty fun. And now about something really important. Video game stuff. I have a 4-year-old daughter that strangely likes to watch me play games, especially cute ones like Spyro and that sort of thing. But I would like that if she could play too, and especially some old games. I have a Raspberry Pi with Cowbox with a bunch of old stuff and would like to hear from you. Which games do you think are good for children in the age range between 3 and 6 years old? 3 from each of you. Make it a top 6 drunk video games to play with children. Thanks for reading and have a nice rest of your podcast. Keep up the good work. P.S. I'm drinking coffee right now because I'm working, but if you read this, let's drink an American IPA. And amen to American IPAs. That's my jam. I know that's not your jam, right, Alex? You're not an IPA guy.
No, I'm more of a whiskey guy, yeah.
It's all good. Are you drinking anything tonight, though, buddy?
Oh, no, I have the Elephants on Parade from Bosque.
Very nice.
Here in New Mexico. What are you drinking?
I'm actually drinking a peach-flavored wine that my wife had left over because I am fresh out of beer. It was a panic.
Oh,
yeah.
Goodness. My goodness. As Vern Lundquist would say, my goodness.
I know. She doesn't know that I stole some, but I'm like, well, I have to partake for the podcast. It's tradition.
Wow.
So some kids games.
I promise I won't go Gary Danielson on you, but let's see some kids. Well, my number one kids game is always going to be Kirby Superstar because you can always, dad or mom can always be player 1, and kiddo can always be player 2, and just kind of like,
follow along,
hang out, follow along in the back. While parent 1 takes care of everything. I think that's a really good choice for a multiplayer game. Otherwise, I would go with single screen puzzle games. Like the Super Nintendo has Tetris and Dr. Mario, Combo Kart. That's perfect. I mean, and then there's also Kirby's Avalanche or Super Puyo Puyo. There's also what else is there? I mean, if you want to do Genesis, there's also like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine and all that sort of stuff.
Right on.
Yeah, single screen puzzle games is usually the way to go with kids that young.
Good job, yeah. I was thinking too, just to shout out a friend of the show, Daria. She did a top NES games to play with children, and she actually tested this out with her kid. So there was some experimentation and testing there. Proof is in the pudding if you want to check out that video. I had some of my own recommendations. I am not very familiar with kids of that age range. My daughter is not even quite 2 yet, so she couldn't play. She couldn't point at what a video game is, much less hold a controller. But for the age range between 3 and 6, I'm not real sure personally, but I do know of some easier games on the NES that maybe at least the 6-year-old could potentially enjoy on their own. One being Kirby. You already mentioned a Kirby for Super Nintendo. Kirby for NES is also not too challenging, at least not at the start. Little Mermaid is a pretty good one. I think that one's pretty easy to figure out, not very punishing. Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle, not too bad, kind of fun, and a kid might like it. And Puss in Boots is also another one that's not too hard, but makes you feel like you kind of accomplished something if you're able to beat it. So, yeah, that would be. He asked for 3, I gave him 4. So look at that, a little bonus content there. But those are some of the easier kid-friendly NES games. I don't know if any of those are 2-player, but they're all kind of fun. So
no, that's fine. That works because they don't necessarily need to be 2-player.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
So we got another email here from I guess your doppelganger. It's an email from an Alex to an Alex.
Oh God, we got Alex over here. Come on. This is bullshit. Okay, Alex, he says, "Hey guys, loving the podcast. Thanks for putting it out there during a time where we could all use more to listen to." You're welcome. And we're just doing the best we can over here. It's been really cool to hear a bunch of different guests to get to know you guys better. My question is about streaming. Every year in November, some friends and I host a 72-hour marathon stream of Super Nintendo games at supernintendocharity.org to raise money for a children's charity, for a children's hospital charity. Over 7 years, we've raised almost $13,000, and it's really fun to try and find new ways to make the stream fun and interesting for whoever tunes in. My favorite tradition is our yearly Ken Griffey tournament, or watching people struggle with the nearly impossible games like American Gladiators or Space Ace, as that's always amazing. I wouldn't say that's always amazing. I'd say that's always like pervasive, because those games are freaking terrible. But that's just me. This year, and he goes on, this year it'll obviously look different with COVID, but in general, just curious if you guys have thoughts about the best games to play during a long stream, or what you like best when you tune into charity streams like this. Keep up the good work, Alex.
I'm thinking.
What do you think, Trev?
I think, when I look through that SNES, the SNES library, there's all of these mascot games. There's so many cat games. Like everything's a cat. Every mascot's a cat. There's tons of mice. Tons of mice out there. There's even a kamikaze squirrel. I think you guys need to do a good boy block and play the games with dogs in them. You got Beethoven, you got Family Dog, and you got Ren and Stimpy. Give the dogs a chance. Those games are pretty terrible. I think it's fun to watch people play terrible games because I don't want to play them, but I still want to see what's in them.
Those games are terrible, though. Family Dog is awful. And not only that, it takes like 15 minutes to finish it.
Oh, really?
It's so bad. Yeah, there's not much to that game at all. It's terrible.
They need to play it 5 times in a row to see if they can still be sane after it. And, do a good boy block. Get those dog games in there.
Ugh. No, play Secret of Evermore if you're going to play a dog game.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
That game's got some length to it, at least. But keep up with the Ken Griffey tournament. That's what I say. Because Griffey, as long as you stay away from Griffey's winning run, because Griffey's winning run is not fun. I don't think it's a good representation of the Super Nintendo. I think it's, it's developed by Rare, and it is good proof that Rare did not know what they were doing when it came to sports games.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, Sculpture Software, I'm pretty sure did the first Griffey baseball game, and they did a tremendous job with the baseball physics and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I know you love your King Griffey. I have a funny story to tell about that. Actually, the other night we were doing a little live trivia there in the old Discord, and we had a little conversation. We were poking jabs at old Alex over here about other baseball games being better than King Griffey, and one of my my buddies was like, I think it was like Baseball Stars the Neo Geo is so much better, just to kind of see what Alex would do, and Alex was like, no way, King Griffey Jr. has all the actual players, and my guy was like, yeah, but the Baseball Stars has like a whole team it was like the New York Monsters, and they're all named after monsters, and we're all kind of laughing. Alex gets real serious, and he's like, "Why would I want that?" It's like, sure, okay, everybody cool, everybody be cool, everybody be cool. He really loves King Griffey. Let's just move on. Play it cool.
I didn't get the joke.
No, it was funny though.
Like,
you brought it down. You're like, why would you want that?
Why would you want monsters as real players?
Oh, that tickled me so much.
I want real players as real players. Like,
it's so funny.
What?
It was so good.
Come on, don't mess with my Griffey, okay? Come on. That's all I ask. It
was so good.
Jeez Louise.
But yeah, do you have other than just telling them to do what they've been doing every year and keep doing that? Do you have a suggestion for a game that would be good in Old Charity?
Let's see. I like what's it called? NBA Give and Go for Super Nintendo, because the games are very short. They are like run up and down the court. Every quarter is finished. You know, you can get a full game done in 15 minutes. It's the same. It's very arcade-like. I think you can do the same sort of thing. It's like NBA Jam, but not as arcadey as NBA Jam, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but it's a little more realistic as NBA Jam, and I think it could fill that need. Give and Go is the name. It's made by Konami, so it's legit. I think you should try that game out.
Cool, yeah. So if it's really short, that makes for a great tournament game, so that's good. Good job. All right, so I think we were going to talk a little bit about, because every few episodes it seems like we get enough ammunition, or I guess we stock up enough of these mean comments that mainly you get, and they're not, they need to be shared with the world. They're too ridiculous to just keep under the hood. So we're going to share some of those. Do you want to get started on a couple of these mean comments?
Sure. I get mean comments at least. I get a ton of these. So let's start with one I got a couple weeks ago. And let me just preface this by saying, like, what am I at? Like 175,000 subscribers. Like, you stop checking comments at a certain point because you get so many of them, and it's just too much to keep up with. But when you do check, you do see certain stuff that's just like, oh my god, like you're just like, all right, like why are you on the internet? What is the point of your existence? All that sort of stuff. So in the meantime, another thing that's very tough to keep up with is that I've been publishing videos on YouTube for over 6 years. And one example of this is that, for example, I've published a video about Little Nemo, the Dream Master, back in 2015. That's 5 years ago, folks. 5 years ago. So I'm supposed to be keeping up with Little Nemo, the Dream Master, all the nuances and all that sort of stuff. I'm supposed to be keeping up with all the things involved with Little Nemo.
Yeah.
5 years later.
Let me ask you, though, for a video that old, are there videos in your catalog where you're like, man, I have no memory making that video?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so many. But for this one, Little Nemo, we got a comment from Audie B. And this person says, I feel like the narrator of this game had a really fucked up childhood because he always bashed kid-friendly games. Maybe he needs to speak to a therapist instead of making video game reviews on YouTube.
Huh.
I know. Like, dude. Maybe do you feel that's an accurate assessment, Trav? Do I need to speak to a therapist?
I'm always like, man, I feel like when Alex must have been beaten by a book bag full of kids games when he got off a bus in Minnesota and someone just came at him with just a bag of Sesame Street games and just beat him with it. And to this day, he just can't let it go. I've always thought that about you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, wait a second. Like, okay, Little Nemo isn't exclusively a kid game.
No, it's not. It's hard as hell. I'd like to see a kid beat
really hard.
Yeah.
Yes, it's really hard. Like, What?
If anything,
what is
this
person's
game is
point?
the reason that some kids need therapy. It's beating more kids than you've, you know what I mean?
How am I supposed to respond to that? Like, put yourself in my place right now and be like, I'm the narrator of this, quote unquote, this game. Okay. This game. Okay. All right, fine.
Man.
And then I had a really fucked up childhood. First of all, my childhood is totally fine. I could not have asked for a better childhood because I always bashed kid-friendly games. I do. When? Why? How? Since when? Give more examples. What are you talking about? Can you be specific, please? What?
Yeah, man. Wow, what a loser.
But I guess I need to speak to a therapist because I need to do that instead of making video game reviews on YouTube.
I'd like to see you go to a therapist about this, though, and they're like, why are you here then? You're like, I'm always bashing kid-friendly games. I don't know what it is. Every time I see one, I'm just like, not into it. They're like, maybe you're not interested in them. And you're like, that could be right.
Therapist is like, okay, done. Bye.
Yeah.
That's it. Just stay away from these games. Goodbye.
Exactly. They're like, what game did you bash? And you're like, I had some things to say about Little Nemo the Dream Master. And they're like, you son of a bitch. You get out of here. No one. Not in my office. Yeah. The next one here is from the very sweet, very kind and gentle. You can just tell that this is a nice person. Their screen name is the SJW Strangler, which in and of itself is just wow. And they say, okay, the opening Snestrunk is painful. Change it to saying s for about 2 seconds, then say drunk. No need to hold it for so long.
That's right, folks. The SJW Strangler cannot handle me saying Snestrunk for too long. They can't handle it.
Hold it for about 2 seconds, man. Why do you let it go for 4?
I don't know. It's just the heat of the moment. It's the heat of the moment. This guy can't handle it. He can strangle some SJWs, but he can't handle. He cannot handle this intro to this video.
I love how specific his critique was, though. It was like, listen, buddy, here, let me just tell you exactly how to do this. You need to hold that for about 2 seconds. That's it. You're letting it go too long. You're going 3-4 seconds. Oh, God, that kills me.
So stupid. I mean, what is going on in your life where that's the comment that you leave on a YouTube video? Like, that's your priority. That's what, like, okay, I need to stop what I'm doing, and I need to sit here and type this right now. Oh, my God.
I mean, to their credit, there's a lot of SJWs out there they got to strangle. They don't have time for these elongated,
Fine. But it's if they're getting caught up on me saying Snestrunk for too long and it's hurting them, they saying it's painful. That's their problem, not mine. Okay.
I don't know why. That's just that whole package there is just too good. Okay, I mean we have a third one here.
Oh, after I said a smart-ass comment, this guy said Nexus 6. Yeah, and by the way, Nexus 6 is a reference to the Nexus 6 model in the original Blade Runner movie.
Oh.
And he said, and this guy is apparently like alluding to the fact that he is Roy in Blade Runner. He's a Nexus 6 model of Android. That's the name Nexus 6. That's what that implies. But he comes at me and he says, "Don't make me drag you across your own table at a convention, Mr. Minnesota. I know who you are and what you look like."
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's going to make me back off for sure.
Do you really think that you know who they are? For them to say, I know who you are? Do you think it's that one of those kids that you rode the bus with back in Minnesota that beat you with all those kids' games?
Is it possible to aggressively not care? Because I aggressively don't care.
He comes to drag you across the table and you realize you're like, Dustin? Is that? I thought.
It's always Dustin. God damn it, Dustin. No, I do not give one fuck. Whatever. Okay. Congratulations. Like, just. Man. People got to fill their lives with something. I don't care. Like, just fill your life with whatever you need to fill it with and Move on, because that's what I'm doing. Drag you across your own table. Okay.
It's like, how many conventions do you like? Does he not know you? You'd never go to conventions. Come on.
And I don't. Not only that, but I have not lived in Minnesota for almost 6 years now.
Yeah.
Actually, almost 7 years now.
But you do go by Mr. Minnesota when you go back there. The town welcomes you. There's a banner says Mr. Welcome back, Mr.
Right.
Minnesota.
Exactly. Just like Paul Orndorff goes by Mr. Wonderful, I go by Mr. Minnesota.
Exactly. Yeah.
I go up there flexing my biceps, and I have a sash and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. Absolutely. So for this episode, because we didn't really have like a ton to talk about. We're kind of in between guests. We got a guest next week, and we're doing all this other stuff. So we're just kind of making it up as we go. We thought one little challenge we could do, maybe amongst ourselves, come up with the top 3. Here are the rules: top 3 non-Nintendo, non-Konami, non-Capcom, and non-Square developers for the NES and the Super Nintendo. So, do you have what's your number 3 for the Super Nintendo that is none of those other developers?
Sega Genesis. No, I'm just kidding. Let me pull that up real quick. I was hoping you would go first.
Oh,
because I've got a lot of stuff I got to pull up here. Because I know my number 1 and my number 2, but I can't remember my number 3. But
gotcha. I can go first if I'm buying you time here. I'd be happy.
You're going number 3, and we're disqualifying first party Nintendo. We're disqualifying Konami. We're disqualifying Capcom, and we're disqualifying Square because all those games, or at least most of those games, are really good.
That's right. And actually, I was going to say my number 3, and I looked up to make sure they made the games I thought they did, and it looks like they outsourced a lot of the development, and so I'm not even confident in my number 3 now, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, I'm not even that confident in it. But I'm going to go ahead and wing it here, and as you can tell, yes, I'm talking to fill time because I'm not confident in my answer, and I'm still Googling. I think I might have to go with my number 3 being HAL.
Okay, yeah.
Might have to go with HAL, yeah. Yeah, you got the Kirby's Adventure there. You got Kabuki Quantum Fighter there. You got the new Ghostbusters 2, which is maybe the best Ghostbusters in the 8-bit era. It didn't come out in the U.S., though. You got all the Lolos, baby. You got all those Lolos. They did their little ports of like Millipede and Othello and all that stuff. Air Fortress is decent. So yeah, I think they're a solid number 3 choice. Again, there's probably something better out there I'm not thinking of, but hey, get your own podcast if you have a better number 3.
Or write us an angry email.
Oh, or just do that. Yeah.
And we'll read it on air and curse you out.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
My number 3 is going to be, I'm going to go off the map. I'm going to go way off the map a bit. I'm going to go LucasArts. Because they only made 3 games, or no, they only made 4 games for the Super Nintendo. They only developed 4 games. I'm going Big Sky Trooper, which is one of my favorite games that I've discovered since I started this whole channel thing.
And
but
proudly, I was the one that recommended that through Patreon.
Oh, did you?
That was me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? All right. Well, I'm giving here's my one hand clapping right here.
Heck yeah.
And they also did Zombies Ate My Neighbors. They did the pseudo sequel Ghoul Patrol, which is not as good as Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but it's still good. And they also did Metal Warriors, which is one of the best 2-player games on Super Nintendo. It's only 4 games, but those are 4 really strong games right there from LucasArts. My third best pick, I won't run through those games again because it takes too long.
Right on, man. Gosh. Okay, coming up, your boy, me. This is me buying time again because I realized, too, I was going to say Taito, and then I looked up Taito developed games. Realized they published some really good ones. They didn't develop all those sweet, sweet games. So damn it. I should have done my goddamn homework.
It's Taito.
Taito.
As somebody that has published videos on YouTube for 7 years, I've been told many times that it's Taito.
Oh, trust me, I know. It's always a gimmick in my video when I say Taito, I go Taito, and I always get 5 comments. Yeah, and I'm like, it's a thing now, guys. I just scream that into nowhere.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy always says it, but nope.
So I'm going to say SNK is my number 2.
Oh, Baseball Stars.
Baseball Stars, Crystallis. The Ikari Warrior series. But Crystallis on its own can prop it up. And then you got Guerrilla War, that's pretty fun. Iron Tank, POW, some good stuff there.
Like the Southern coming out and POW?
POW. I don't know why I said it like that.
Right on. No, Baseball Stars, how much time have you put into Baseball Stars?
I like Baseball Stars, yeah, fair amount.
Fair amount? All right, that's good. I like that game quite a bit. It's no Griffey baseball, but it's pretty damn good.
But it's got the New York Monsters in it, and they're named after...
It does, yeah. New York Monsters, they kill me every time. They're my Achilles heel. For me, the number 2 in Super Nintendo, I got to take your number 3 answer. It's HAL Labs. They have Arcana, which is a dungeon crawler. They have Hyperzone, which is a rail shooter. They have Kirby Superstar, which is one of the best. It's a top 20 SNES game. Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Vegas Stakes is fine. Earthbound, for God's sake. Might be a top 10 SNES game. They have a game that never came out in North America called Alcahest. It's an action RPG. Tremendous game. Really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when it comes to anything that's not, I should preface though that Earthbound was developed also by Ape Incorporated. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure somebody will write and say that how dare you not include Ape Incorporated in your thing. But yeah, no, Nintendo as a publisher apparently saw something in this developer, and because they ended up developing all these freaking games for this. Except for Alcahest. Square stepped in for Alcahest, which is very interesting. But yeah, interesting.
Right on. Yeah. Okay, so my number 1 here for the old NES, and I think it's a pretty easy choice. I think a lot of people are probably screaming that maybe I haven't said that yet, but Tecmo.
Yeah, I think it has to be for NES.
Absolutely, man. You got your Fire and Ice in there. You got your Ninja Gaidens. You got your Rygar, your Silkworm. That's a pretty decent game. Solomon's Key. That's a classic puzzler. Then you got your Tecmo sports games, baby. You got Super Bowl. You got that wrestling. All of
wrestling. You got all your sports games. You got Tecmo Super Bowl. You got Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson single-handedly is holding this game, holding this genre, holding this publisher, holding this development company on his shoulders.
That's right.
Up above all these other places. That's just the way it is.
You can't.
And you folks got to deal with it.
Bo knows. Bo knows.
Bo knows. Absolutely.
Yeah.
My number 1 for Super Nintendo has got to be Natsume. Because why? Because we got Ninja Warriors. And we got Pocky and Rocky. We got Pocky and Rocky 2. We got Power Rangers Beat 'em Up, which is not that bad. It's actually pretty damn good. I never gave a shit about Power Rangers in my life. That game's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
we got
it is.
Ghost Sweeper Mikami, which is a Super Famicom game. Pretty damn good game. Probably a top 20 Super Famicom game that never left Japan here. Mm-hmm. We got Mark Davis, Fishing Master.
Oh, fuck yeah. Sorry. Just love that game.
We got Wild Guns, too,
nice.
On top of all that. Yeah, so... And I know Wild Guns got a remake for Steam. That's widescreen that allows you to, move from side to side much quicker, but still. I'm going Natsume. That's all those games. It spans a ton of genres.
Yeah.
Love all those games. Love Wild Guns. Love all those games. So
that's a really good choice, actually. And if I had put more of an effort into this before we started recording, I think Natsume would definitely be in my top 3 for the NES because you got Abadox in there, Power Blade 1 and 2, a
Shadow and the Ninja.
Yeah, Shatter Hand. So
Shatterhand, yeah.
Yeah, so they did some good stuff too. So yeah, they would probably make the top 3. I would bump one of the other ones. Tecmo would probably stay, but yeah, this was fun. I like doing stuff like this because it's always usually about the Konami and the Nintendo and the Capcom and yeah, these other guys were great too.
Well, speaking of Wild Guns, we got a listener question from El Gamer Astral.
Hell yeah,
saying, "Is Wild Guns for SNES overrated or underrated? Is it worth the price?" And I'm just going to go first here. It's so overrated because it's been remade on, I don't know if it's just PS4 or what, but I'm going to look it up right now. But it's been remade. Like, go play it as, a remake. Don't
right.
spend $1 million on the Super Nintendo version and play it as, on the cropped screen. Go play it as something else, with a widescreen with extra levels and extra characters and all that sort of stuff.
You did a really good review of this not long ago too, right? A couple years back.
I did, yeah. No, I was gonna say it was more than a while ago. It was it was like a year and a half ago, I think. But no, people need to get on this train for sure because it's fun to own. I think at this point, Wild Guns for Super Nintendo has just become a collector's symbol. Like, hey, I own Wild Guns. Do you? No, you don't. I do. It's one of those things where it's just...
And collectors do that. We're annoying, and we like having the shiny thing. I mean,
right.
But I do. I mean, I really liked your review. That really did open my eyes to it because I didn't really know a whole lot about the game, to be honest with you. It just always was expensive. I'd never played it, never seen it, so it was cool to see that you could probably even get a better experience playing it, playing the remake. So good to know.
Yeah.
Our next question here comes from our friend, who I believe goes by Captain Drachma in some small circles. He says, "What sounds/music in games made you tense up or get stressed out? Examples: music speeding up at the end of a Mario level, the dinging noise in Zelda games when you are low on health, etc."
Well, I know what your answer is. It's going to be Sonic, right?
Yeah. That bubble, not getting to those bubbles and that. Oh man, I could wake up in a cold sweat. I've had Sonic bubble nightmares. It's tough.
Just you saying that makes me nervous. Yeah. Now for me, it's always been the Zelda beeping. It's always been Baby Mario crying when he flies off Yoshi in Yoshi's Island. Those are the big ones for me, but. The F-Zero one for me has always been like a really stressful one where you get too low on damage and holy crap, when that beep starts going, it's like, okay, I have to be perfect for like the next 3/4 of this level. If I'm not, it's over. That makes me crazy too.
Yeah. I do like that modern gaming has tried to annoy me in a different way to let me know that I'm dying. Like the screen will get red or kind of bleak, or it'll fade out a little bit to let me know, like, hey, get out of whatever you're in, rather than just berate me with stressful tones. Because there's something about that, like it sticks with you and it makes your stomach jump. Like whenever I play Sonic and you're in, I think level 4, I believe, is when you're down in the water a lot, and it's like, and you
have to jump up to fight the boss.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. So all of that's just panic-inducing. But modern games, like if you play a first-person shooter, the screen will go red around the edges or something like that. And you're like, okay, I got it. Get out of trouble. I got you. I don't need to be, Pavlov dogged with all of these noises.
That's how it is. That's how they treat you. That's how they get you. So do modern Zelda games still do that with the beeping?
I don't remember. I played like 60 hours of Breath of the Wild and I couldn't tell you. I don't think so, but I don't know. I really don't know. That's a good question. I feel stupid not being able to answer that.
Because I haven't played that much. When I play these games, I don't play them with the sound on. It's usually with like a shitload of people around or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So so I don't I don't get into that. So yeah, no. When I think of Zelda, I think of the Link to the Past, beep 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 beep
yeah
beep beep, and it's just All right. This is my life now.
Cool. So, next week we got a pretty fun guest coming up. I'm pretty excited to talk to him. So I guess that'll be the end of this episode, a little shorter than usual, but, we're in between guests. We're taking it easy this week. Alex is tired. Give the guy a break.
Hey, don't blame me for the short podcast.
Give the guy a break.
Not my fault.
You've been yelling. You've been giving him mean comments. He's worn out.
How dare you?
He's worn out. All right, everyone. That's been another Drunk Friend podcast. Please reach out to us with questions or comments, especially if they're mean, at drunkfriendpodcast@gmail.com. We like to read those out here on the show from time to time, so please send those on if you got them. And if you like podcasts and you want to hear more podcasts, you can check out the others on the network at polykill.com.
And if you simply like to help out the show, remember to rate us and review us wherever you listen. It only takes a second to do, and it really helps out the show. So go do it. Jeez.
Gosh, you're making Alex upset. Please, do it.
Come on.
We're on Twitter as well. I'm at TravPlaysGames. Alex is, of course, at SNESDrunk.
And as always, we want to shout out Coolor for the podcast music. The song you heard is called Electric Star Bounce, and you can find a link to more of his music on the Buzzsprout podcast page. And a shout out to Josh Leslie, who made our cold, crisp, refreshing logo.
That's right. Even David of the Mariachi Entertainment System, who made me laugh my ass off last week, loved Coolor's music and wanted to get a hold of that. So
that's right.
Yeah, definitely cool stuff. So be sure to catch us all on YouTube, and thanks for listening.
And we hope you have a great rest of your day. Cheers!